Yesterday, I was just filling out a form that asked me to share my story as an artist, and I actually typed it all out for the first time, so I'm going to share it with you. I've just resigned from teaching after 10 years to pursue art full time. I didn't learn that I was an artist until my junior year of college, a little too late to change my major, not that I would have if I could have. After experiencing homelessness and insecurity as a child and teen, security and financial provision was my top priority at that time, so an art career was simply never considered. 5 years into my teaching career, my creative muscles were itching for more, so I studied for a certification exam and became an art teacher with no formal art education, yet very educated in art. I loved teaching elementary art. It changed my life, and I even became a leader in my district writing elementary art curriculum for a team of over 20 teachers. I believe that creativity compounds, and the more you feed it, the more it demands from you. In September of 2025, I was completely burnt out. I was happy to be successfully selling my art part time, creating family and pet portrait ornaments and watercolor paintings for customers on Etsy. But as a mom of three and a full time teacher, getting home around 5 p.m., dinner, bath, bedtime, and then orders to paint with my last drops of energy and time left at the end of the night, I was exhausted and not having fun. I felt God nudge me to stop. I thought that couldn't be right. I resisted. He persisted, and then I obeyed and stopped all painting orders right before Christmas. I planned to take a few months off and then start again. I suddenly had free time. I took a break from painting and learned to crochet, read a book, and then I was dying to paint again. But with no orders, I could paint whatever I wanted, and that's when I painted disco blooms. This painting was all about taking something so clearly meant for a celebration and allowing it to adorn your everyday life. But what this painting told me was that if this is what I'm capable of as a mom of three and a full time teacher, painting only with small gaps of time and little energy that I had left, what more could I do? If I allowed myself to go all in, to have time to improve my skills and focus with less distractions, I could be even better than this. Also, in fall of 2025, I learned that the elementary school I taught at will be closing. Yes, a Texas public school closing due to low enrollment and inadequate state funding, something unprecedented. I prayed about where I would teach next, and after months of praying and planning, I knew without a doubt that God was calling me to end my teaching career and go all in. I created a business plan to renovate my garage into an art studio, teaching kids' camps, women's workshops, homeschool classes, and more, all with the goal of teaching less hours but having income to support myself as I focus heavily on my own art journey and build a career as a full time artist. In May 2026, I resigned from the school district just a few days before my very first fine art festival in Allen, Texas. On Mother's Day weekend, I had invested over $1,200 into prints, booth fees, displays, and more for this art festival, and it was not paying off. By the end of day two, I had made back around $350 and went home feeling discouraged. When I arrived on day three, my work was soaked, scattered around the street, my tent mangled, and my art dreams crushed on Mother's Day. A microburst, what even is that? Hit the street my tent was on and destroyed many vendor tents overnight. My family arrived to help me clean up the destruction. I was in tears, and as my husband tried to see if my tent could be salvaged, I said, "It doesn't even matter. I should just never do this again." My dad pulled me aside, away from my kids just a minute later, and told me, "You have to do this again, even if you don't want to, because your kids saw what happened and they need to see their mom try again." I sat in my minivan full of broken dreams, having a good cry before driving home, and made a tearful video to let my 400 TikTok followers know what had happened. Cried the whole way home, ate a sandwich, and then cried myself to sleep on Mother's Day. When I woke up from my sad nap, I had notifications of 5 new orders of my prints on my website that hadn't had a single order since I launched about a month ago. I went to TikTok and realized my teary eyed video was gaining traction. So I spent the rest of the day adding some newer artwork to my website. And over the next 4 days, that video reached 7 million views. I gained 23,000 followers and had 350 sales of prints on my website. What a way to launch my career, right? What I thought was sent to destroy and stop my dreams of being a full time artist turned into a bigger blessing than I could have imagined. I made about $10,000, which is all being saved for the garage to studio renovation and as a cushion for when I stop receiving my teaching paychecks in September. I was invited by the CEO of the Keenan Center in West New York to join the 100 American Craftsman Show. They paid my way, waived booth fees, and gave me a corner spot. The best part of all of this was an expense paid trip to see Niagara Falls with my husband. None of this would have happened without the microburst. I always wanted to start a mail club, but I knew I shouldn't try launching to an empty room. And I finally had a decent audience and launched the Microburst Mail Club in June 2026. I sent signed limited edition prints to 99 members in June and 116 members in July. In the midst of all this, I also had the honor of making my first 2 live wedding paintings. Something terrifying, but I always perform well with pressure and a challenge. So today, I'm working my butt off teaching summer art camps in my kitchen, renovating my garage, selling my art online, applying for festivals and exhibitions, live wedding painting, and sending microburst mail. There are 3 key points that I want everyone to take away from my story. Number 1, go all in. What you consider playing it safe may be holding you back from giving yourself a fair shot. I didn't leave my job after building a steady art career on the side that I knew could support my family. I realized that teaching full time was holding me back from exploring my potential. Be courageous and go all in. Look at someone that's Number 2, look at someone that's living your dream and ask, what's the difference between me and them? Am I willing to work as hard as they are? Yes. Does God love me as much as He loves them? Yes. So why can't that be me? I think you'll find that the only thing stopping you is fear. And what's scarier? Trying, failing, and having a mess to clean up, or going your whole life without trying and regretting it? Number 3, God loves you and wants great things for you. Start thanking Him for the blessings that you haven't seen yet. That's what a friend told me. The day I resigned, I was anxious and wanted some reassurance or a sign from God that this will work and I'm doing the right thing. But I changed my mind mid-prayer and said, never mind, God, I don't want a little sign of reassurance. Instead, I want to thank you for the huge blessing on the way that I cannot see yet. That was 5 days before I went viral on TikTok.